Okay, so I'm recording, so be careful what you say. It can and will be used against you if it has to. So, um, and welcome to the Gullahorn happy hour guitar time. The song we're talking about today is "I Will," and "I Will" is in a tuning that it's my favorite tuning. I think it's the easiest tuning in the whole world. I call it open C.
Good, because that's what I'm already in.
Yeah, that's the one.
Awesome.
Open C. So what from the lowest string, it's C, G, C, G, C, E, and I'll type that in here so everybody can see it. So one of the reasons why I love this tune, I used to be more adventurous and playing a lot of different tunings, and then I just pretty much got lazy and tired of switching tunings a lot during the show. So I kind of consolidate everything to either open C or standard tuning. Although there are a few songs that are different, but generally I play in open C or standard tuning. And to me, one of the reasons why I love open tunings is because when I first started playing guitar, I made a promise to myself that I was going to avoid bar chords for as long as I possibly could. I hate bar chords. I hate the way they felt, and I hate the way they sounded. It wasn't like open enough to me. I still hate the way they feel, and I still generally don't like the way they sound, but maybe because I don't play them very well. So what I loved about open tunings is that it made my job a whole lot easier. So one of my fears about tonight and talking about this song is that once I show you this song in this tuning, maybe before you thought I was a good guitar player, and then you're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, oh, that's it? It's nothing. And it's the truth, it's nothing. So, but here's, all the tricks, as if there are any tricks. So, just as an example, so this guitar, I don't know if everybody's familiar with the song "I Will," but if you're not, there's nothing I can do about that at this point. Like this guitar is in standard tuning. So if I was going to play this song in standard tuning, any of these chords, hey, I could hear somebody's baby, which is totally fine. It makes me happy, but if you're on here and you can mute, it might make more sense. Okay, sorry, I couldn't tell who that was. Okay, but all those chords, it's basically just three chords. I'm in capo on the 3rd fret. It's basically a C, an F, and a G. Just 3 chords, basically, and that's it. But all those chords, I'm holding down at least 3 strings, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 with my F. So that's why with my open tuning, is great for lazy people, because I don't think at any point in this song I'm holding down more than 2 frets at the same time. Getting back to the tuning, so it's a tune all the way down, this low string all the way down to a C from an E. Tune the A string down to a G. Tune the D string down to a C. Then you leave the G string the same. You take the B up to a C, and then you leave the E there. So it's cheating because I just play the chord and there it is. And once again, I'm capable on the 3rd fret. So technically that's like E flat. But I don't think in those terms, because who wants to play a song in E flat? Not me. Okay. I see a question just come up from Rob Osborne about, do I use standard string gauges or custom set? I use either just regular D'Addario, either medium gauge or bluegrass. And bluegrass is like medium on the heavier strings and light in the higher strings. But I'm not much of a gear person, so maybe there are better strings to use, but this is just what I've used for 20-something years. And this guitar just seems to hold it well. Some of your guitars, when you tune down to open C, especially that low C, it might get a little janky and jangly. It might be, it might not hold it that well. especially, you know, once you put a capo on it, it might start going a little crazy. I haven't set up this guitar particularly for open tunings, but it just kind of has always worked. So just, yeah, I guess I just lucked out. So there. So first step is you have to luck out. Okay. Okay, let me ask this. Does the guitar sound distorted?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, let me do this. Mm-hmm.
Do you have original sound?
Is this any better? Or still distorted?
Dig in a
Sounds
little
the
bit. And
same.
see what happens.
Still distorted?
A little bit.
This. And same thing? Okay. Is the guitar distorting? Anyone?
It's still distorting a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah. There's a setting. I don't know if you need to do this, but there's a setting in your advanced audio settings where you can check original sound.
In Zoom?
Yeah. By your mic, there's a little up caret, audio settings, advanced, and then check the original sound box.
Audio settings. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see if that. Is that better?
That is a little better.
That was better than me.
Okay. Does it sound too quiet?
No.
Who was that? Was that you, Tyler Smith, who was giving me the instructions? Are you the official IT guy for the Gullahorn Happy Hour Guitar Time?
No, but I can be.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just one more thing. There's a little box now in your screen where it can say turn off original sound or turn on original sound.
Yes.
So make sure it's on.
Andy Gullahorn. Here, I want you to take a picture of it.
Okay. Turn on original sound is on.
That's cheesy.
Is that correct?
It should say turn off original sound. I know it's kind of weird.
Wide open.
Wait, so okay, yeah. All right, there it is. Now it says turn off original sound.
Yeah, that's better.
I've never had an IT guy before.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay. And don't worry, I'll keep my left hand in here when I'm playing. So, anyways, back to that tuning. CGCGCE. And really what I'm going to start with is just the 3 basic chords that are in this song. First, technically is a, what I would call the 1, which is technically the E flat, but I'll just say it's a C because I'm capable on the 3rd fret. So, and that first chord is either just playing nothing, just wide open, just open tuning. There are a couple variations of this chord that I might use. One is to add this 4th fret on the 3rd string. So it's either there or there. Occasionally, if I get a little frisky, I play the 5th fret on the 2nd string just so that I have 3 C's back to back. I say C. When I say C, I mean E flat, but you guys know that, okay? Or just pretend like you know it, or because I have no clue what I'm talking about if I talk about E flat. So those are 3 different ways that I play that one chord. Then the next chord, I really, in the song, I hold that chord for a long time. I'll play the different variations later. And just a reminder too that while right now, if you can go on mute, somebody's tuning, but I can't see who it is, so I won't tell if they're not. Okay. So that first chord is either open, or that variation, or that variation. Doesn't really matter. The next chord, like I'd play that all the way. Nothing, all you hear is silence. Feels like you're alone now, drifting off of the map. Now, when you hit the map, that's a second chord, and that's a 4 chord. It would be an F if we were playing a standard tuning, not in the key B flat. And that's just, so the 4 chord is just the holding down the 5th fret and the 1st and 2nd strings, and then play the rest of the guitar open. So that's real simple. First chord, 2nd chord, 5th fret, these top 2 strings right here. So that's the 2nd chord. And the 3rd chord, I guess there's like 3.5 chords, we'll say that. The 3rd chord is what I would call, this is the 5 chord, which I play, the fingering is similar to like an A7. So the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 2nd fret on the 5th string. So that's a 5 chord in this song. So you got the 1 chord is open, 4 chord is those 2 notes on the 5th fret. 5 chord is like you're playing an A7. I'll give a bunch of different angles from that. That's just that. And then there's another chord kind of at the end of the verse, and that's what I would call like a 4 over a 1. And that is, so it's, I call it the hook 'em horns chord. Look, hook 'em horns. I'm from Austin, Texas. That's for Will Otto right there. Take that. And then you take your hook 'em horns and turn them around. 2nd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, 5th fret. But you still play the 1st string as the bass note for it. So I'm just going to run through these basic chords real quick, and then I'll stop and hit questions if you have questions, and we'll go into some details. So just for the basic chords, if you're just playing along, it's like that 1 chord. Nothing, all you hear is silence. Feels like you're alone now, drifting off of the map. That 4 chord. The many souls have gone. Back to the 1 chord, to the 5. Down this road you're on. And to that 4 over 1. At least I have. And usually when I'm coming out of that longhorn chord, the 4 over a 1, when I go back to the 1, I do that variation of the 1 I talked about where I'm holding the 4th fret down on the 3rd string. Many souls have gone down this road you're on. At least I have. Okay, I know it's really tough, but compared to like playing standard tuning, I'm hardly even working here. So now I'm gonna make sure everybody's tracking. Take a couple seconds. If anybody has like a question, you can either unmute and ask a question, or you can type it in the chat thing. It's up to you. Any questions? I wish I could see all of you at one time, but I can't. Okay. All right. So that's pretty simple. So now, like, literally, those are all the chords in the whole song. They don't even have a chorus. It's just a verse over and over again. And now you're wondering, like, why in the world did I log on here? That's pretty simple. Now I see Daniel's asking about pick technique. Like for the beginning, I'm basically just doing this pattern. First string, second string, first string, third string, first string, second. That's basically the pattern I'm starting with. Of course, it changes a little bit once I start playing. But at the very beginning, I'm just doing that pattern, and then I'm adding this second fret on the second string in kind of the intro part. So so as we go into the melody parts of this song, it's really just what I love about open tuning is I'm really not. There are a couple times where I'm holding down a couple frets at the same time, but mostly it's just like one note at one fret at a time. It's pretty simple for lazy people like me. Okay, I see a question from Troy about show any patterns to imagine the scale in your head. Troy, if you can unmute and explain to me exactly what you mean, because I don't know that I fully understand.
I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but when I'm thinking about in standard tuning, there's like shapes that I think about as far as what notes are good notes and what notes are bad notes. And is there any sort of like, I always play this scale this way in this tuning, or do you even know what the notes are when you're playing it, or have you just done it so much that you know what they sound like and you pull out the one you want? Or how do you think about scales when you're working in open tunings?
Yeah, I totally see that now. That's a great question. And there are a number of answers to your question. One, I have no clue what I'm playing, but also when I started playing in standard tuning, I didn't learn like technically how to play guitar, so I started learning scales like a year ago on like in standard tuning, and that's just because I'm around a bunch of bluegrass guys and they're amazing. I'm like, what do I need to do to get better? So but for open tuning, it's similar where you feel you get used to what notes are comfortable in the scale of this, but really it's really hard to screw up in the open tuning because everything kind of sounds nice because every open string is in your scale for your chords. You can play any of the open strings and it just sounds nice, but I forgot how to do the end there. And every other string is the first and the third and the fifth string are all the same note, and the second and the fourth string are the same note too. So going scale wise, it's generally, I mean, you're generally hanging around the second, fourth, and fifth frets of all the strings. And most tunings like Dadgad, open E, I mean, a lot of them, when you're playing, the one chord's typically going to be the open chord, and the four chord's typically going to be based around the fifth fret. The five chord is typically based around the seventh fret. The six minor is based around the ninth fret. Two minors based around the second fret. So there's some similarities to all the open tunings you'll get used to as you play them, where the comfortable spots are. So getting more into the specifics of this song. Andy, I see your question. David Wilcox plays in like every tuning known to man, and then some that aren't known to man and aren't even known to him. He just kind of messes around, finds weird things, and I don't know how he does it. But there are some of his songs in Open C. I don't know which ones they are. Pierce Pettis plays in Open C a good bit. I'm trying to think who else. I can't remember. I think you're right. Eye of the Hurricane is an open C by David Wilcox. I don't know if Eric Peters plays an open C, but to me, it's one of the easiest ones. I used to play in Dadgut a lot, and this just is so much easier. It's really hard to screw up. So, in showing like the intro to this song, when it comes to the melody of it, it's basically just kind of keeping the right hand going, and if you're not hitting the exact note, it doesn't matter because all the notes are kind of in there. So, you know. So all that melody is happening on this third string with the first, second, and fourth frets. Right? That's a big part of it. And then the next transition going into that 4 chord, I kind of play, I do this. Wait. To slow that down, it's fourth, this is on the third string. I don't know if you guys can see that pretty well, but the notes are basically fourth, second to open on the third string, fourth on the second string, back to the open on the third string, and then up to that fourth string, open, and then the second fret. So really slowly it's. And the way that fits into so those first three are just pulling off. I'll pluck it and then. And when I get to that note, then I hit that bass on the fourth, on the fifth fret, but the bass of the 4. So once again, the melody here. See, I just botched it up, but it still sounds like it's in the chord. Thank God for open C. And that way, whenever I screw up, I can pretend like I did it on purpose. I'm just adding a new flavor to it. But it's supposed to sound like. Screwed up again. Okay, and then from that 4 chord, this is where it gets. I don't even know if anybody can ever hear this, but when I'm going back to the one, I go hold on this 4th fret on the 5th string, 2nd fret on the, or keep the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and I kind of slide off of it like that. Then down to the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and then I hold the 5th fret of the 4th string and the 4th fret of the 3rd string, slide off that into that A7 kind of fingering, which is the 5th chord. I say the A7 fingering, it's not the A7 chord. I hope you can translate all my weird talk. And then I walk up into that 4/1 chord, and then back to the 1. And really, that melody screwed up again. I realized that there was one, high note that I didn't tell you about. Maybe I didn't realize I played it. So I'm only strumming these top 4 notes here when I do that. Then I add this 3rd fret on the high string. And that note, I can kind of put in there whenever I want. I can put it in there on the 1 chord. Rings out nicely. I can put it in there on the 4 chord sometimes. I can put it in there on the 5 chord. So sometimes I'll throw that in there so it's I don't know if any of that is like making sense. I can't see all y'all's faces, but I'll take questions here in 1 second. So some of the deal with those kind of slide downs. Like the slide is supposed to be part of the movement, so it's not just like, it's really, if I did a super slow motion. And same thing here. So sliding down to nothing. Okay. I'm going to stop there and take questions. I'm not sure how this is translating. I appreciate your picture, Chris Reinhardt. Okay. Okay, Mike Whitaker asked, what's the thing in the middle again, up on the 4th and 5th frets? Oh, you got it. Okay. Aaron is asking about 2, 3, or 6 chord finger. You're talking about like the 2 minor, the 3, and the 6 minor chord fingerings? I don't know where Aaron is. Oh, is that what you're talking about, Aaron? Okay. So yeah, so not in this song. Obviously, this song doesn't have, it's just really 3 chords, which is, you know, embarrassing to say. Actually, it's not embarrassing to say. But basically, if this is the 1, you know, the 2 minor, you can just play it, you know, like getting the main bass notes and leaving the rest open. So 2nd fret on those first 3, or just the first 2 strings. I normally play the 2 minor like 2nd fret on 1st, 2nd string, and then 5th fret on the 3rd string. I think that's it. Like David Wilcox did that a lot. Can't remember if that's in that song or not. I just think that sounds prettier. And then, so you typically have the open chord, 2 minor, and then a chord that I would use a lot is a 1/3. So the bass is coming up to, usually when I play a 1/3, the bass is the 4th fret, then 5th fret, the 2nd string. Then I just add the 4th fret on the 1st and 3rd string is just the same note, so it's just an octave there. But for me, what a 1/3 would look like would be that. 4, 5, 4. So you got 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord. Sorry, I'm using my thumb. That's probably bad form. 4 chord. I'm just holding down those 2 on the 5th fret. And the 5 chord, like I said, I either play it like that, like the A7 fingering, or maybe these first 3 strings on the 7th fret. And if you want to play the 6 minor, you can just do the first 3 strings on the 9th fret. But I also like to add that same thing I kind of did with the 2 minor. And actually, so that would be the, what is this? 5, 7, 9. That would be the 12th fret on the 3rd string. And the same thing if I was going to play a 3 minor instead of like a 1/3. Same thing there. That kind of brings out the minor, so that. Or if you play the 4 minor, or the 5 minor, that little pinky up 3 frets higher on that 3rd string will turn it into a minor pretty quickly. Does that make sense? An example of that would be, there's no stone to lay these flowers down beside. There's a 1 to the 3 minor. To the 6 minor. This is the other way I play a 6 minor other than on the 9th fret. Kind of playing it like, almost like the first part of a B minor. 2nd fret on the 2nd string, 4th fret, 3rd string, 5th fret on the 4th string. So I'm venturing out of the I Will song. Death Without a Funeral, yes, it is in open C. So please don't be embarrassed if something is like not making any sense to you, and you need some clarification. There's people here with all sorts of levels of playing guitar, and open tuning is can be quite difficult to get used to. But once you get used to it, it's like super easy. So now thinking about the right hand, I'll try to hold my guitar like a mariachi while I play this. In the back part of the melody, a lot of the stuff is on upstrokes. I haven't played that part right this entire time. So the first verse I kind of do it simple like I was just doing, just kind of wide open. And the second verse, I do that second variation of the 1 chord where I put this 4th fret on the 3rd string. So some say there's nothing they're ashamed of. And start tracing the melody with it. They cover up the tracks from the hell where they've been. But if you're looking for something broken, so it's the same things, but I was laying off of some of the, didn't quite have all the juice on it. And then it goes from that verse into a kind of half solo section where it goes, same thing. But then it goes to that 4/1. And then it's the same chords, but it just changes the strum pattern a little bit. So it goes to match this pattern of the kick drum going boom, boom. So then after that verse, the really only other difference in this song, kind of at the end of the song, is it's a kind of an enhanced part of the melody for that. So it's usually going into the verses I do. Right? That's just kind of a 2nd string, no fret 2. But in that solo section, it's basically I just do it, since every other string is the same note, it's just octaves, I just kind of double up what I'm doing. So rather than, I do. Okay, so I'm going to stop for any questions here. I see some in the chat. I'll catch up with this.
What do you mean by doubling at the end? Can I see that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So if the melody is, you know, right? So that's all. Most of that is on this third string right here. So I'm doing essentially playing the same thing on the third string on the fifth string, because the third and the fifth string are the same, and the second and the fourth string are the same. They're just octaves, right? So if I do play the second and the fourth open, it's the same note. I fret them both on the second fret. Then I go to the third and the fifth string open, third and the fifth string. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then when I get to this part, it's too complicated, so I don't do the octave thing there. Does that answer your question? Okay. Okay. If you have another question, you can shout out. I'm going to get these ones in the chat. Yes, I know I did have some kind of tabs. They're like my kind of tabs, which aren't technical. They might be really weird. And I think I still have them somewhere. Oh, can I attach a file here? Well, I don't know. If Daniel, if you have them, yes, you can share it, because I have no clue where they are. Okay. Oh, look, there it is. I will chart. Click to download. If you want the little chart, thank you, Daniel, for doing that. And you can download that. That's in the notes right there. TL says, you don't double the run, slacker. Yes, I told you earlier, I'm a lazy slacker. That is why I'm playing open tuning. You're not calling me anything that my wife hasn't called me like my whole life. Okay, so, okay, let's see what else. Oh, inspiration for the song. The inspiration for the song was well, a couple of things. It was kind of written for this men's group I've been a part of for a number of years. Maybe it started 11 or 12 years ago. And it was just kind of like the way that group has taught me how to be a I don't know, a good friend, a friend who listens and doesn't try to fix other people. So yeah, it was a Samson group. Yes, Samson the Pirate Monks, if you've ever read that book. So it's a mixture of that, and I know that when I was working on whatever record this was on, I think this song is from Beyond the Frame, maybe, or I don't know. But I was just trying to think of something that would be interesting to start the record off with, and started playing that lick on the guitar. And normally I don't write songs that don't have choruses, so it was kind of weird for me. I figured I'll never play this song because it doesn't have a chorus, and I grew up as a, in country music, and choruses are pretty important most of the time. But somehow the song survived without having a chorus, and then ended up. I thought I wouldn't play it live because I just didn't think it would translate, but then I found out that I love playing it live. Okay, then David has a geeky question about fingernail care. Well, I don't know if it's a clue to you that I didn't even know don't know generally what kind of strings I have on my guitar. So I don't put a whole lot of effort into fingernail care. In fact, one of these fingernails, this one right here, is it called the ring finger on your right hand still? I don't know. I slammed it in the door of the bathroom on the bus on Christmas tour, and it immediately got black, and it finally fell off. It's like almost May now, so that's really bad fingernail care. But I have a lot of friends that keep their fingernails really long. I don't keep them like super short, but they're pretty short. And that's about all the fingernail care that I have. Okay, look at these other questions. How do I record the vocals? Oh, and the recording. The first song on most of my records, for some reason, I've always recorded my vocals doubled. So it's usually the only song on my record that has the vocals doubled on it, which basically just means I sang it one time and then I sing it again, just right over it. It kind of makes it feel a little bit more full. And I think one of the reasons why I did that is it felt like I wanted the first song to have more energy, and I always just felt like my voice is just like a sissy, sissy voice. So I had to double it. If I double 2 sissy voices equals 1 regular voice. So that's how I try to start off. That's how I try to start off my records. And then, okay, let's see. Oh, Matt isn't seeing where Daniel. Can anybody else see the document that Daniel shared? It's up in the chat section. Is that visible to everybody? Okay. Let me see. Would you mind sharing it again, Daniel, if some people aren't able to get to it? Oh. All right, they just shared it again. So, and if you can't get it now, you can always email me and I'll find it and send it to you. So as far as this song is concerned, are there other questions as to I guess we started with kind of the easiest song because it's just one thing throughout the whole song.
I had two things real quick. If you can show us the part kind of in the middle of that lick, after you do that double slide, pull off kind of thing on 2 and 4, what comes right after that? I feel like I
Sure
missed that. And then 2, I think the doubling thing is probably what it is, but just as a production question, do you ever double these parts with a Nashville tuning guitar with your bouzouki or anything like that to kind of thicken it up?
Yes, for sure. I do. I don't remember. I haven't listened to the recording of this song in a long time, but it wouldn't surprise me if the main line was if that's doubled on the bouzouki. Really, when I'm recording stuff like that, I just have my instruments out and I'm just like, oh, let me throw this on there. And I think there's also a bouzouki kind of going like a. I think it's doing something like that. Like doing this droning thing under it. I mean, there are just a bunch of different parts on there, but yeah, I'll just kind of double it up. And the part you were asking about, so I'll play this really slowly. Is that the part you're talking about? We're coming off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one after the right there.
Yeah, this one comes. down to totally open, and then going into that 5 chord. Oh, I'm so out of tune now. If I was a real professional, I would just do this by ear, but I'm not. Yeah, so sliding off of those into just kind of open into the 5 chord. Other questions? I wonder how bad the well, no, that'd be a horrible idea. I was gonna say we should all play it together, and then I realized it would sound horrible because we'd all be different times. But the basic structure of all that, if you start getting into, other songs, a lot of them are just based out of those. When I said the 1, the 2, 1/3, the 4, the 5, the 6, and I'm trying to think of another. Another simple song, but well, I mean, Death Without a Funeral, similar. So it's just 1. There's no stone to lay these flowers down beside. No mention in the paper, although something clearly died. No get 1/3. Family, back to the 4. Friends to eulogize. Death without to the 5. Freedom would be the first freedom. The not Freedom 2.0. Freedom 2.0 is in standard tuning. But yeah, the first Freedom is real similar. Actually, I don't know how it goes. Every summer they load the car. Well, it's a 5/7 right there, which is just drive up to the mountains. Family tradition going on 15 years. Same old chords. Holy Ground, same thing, except it's a little trickier. Basically 5/1. But it's all based out of this tuning. I have it either, same thing. You get little. That was all on the 1. You get the 5. And that's just messing around with 5. Stupid, frilly things. So my first question here is to, well, let's see. Will Otto, you still here? You're the first one to ask about this song. Are you gonna be able to play it now?
Definitely. I will.
Yeah. Did you think this song was written about you? No? I was wondering if that's why you requested it. Oh, Troy says he wants to hear you play it. No.
I already put up my guitar, Troy. Thanks, though, bro.
Yeah, it's smooth. That was a good one. Okay, yeah. And this guitar, by the way, is a Larrivee. I should probably get back to my This is my favorite Larrivee. I bought it when I was in senior year of college. After somebody stole another Larrivee, and I got some insurance money. So it's fancier than I would normally have. It has all this fancy stuff on it, and it has kind of like kind of a half-naked woman on the headstock, which I usually cover her up with a capo. It's called the Genie. And this guitar I've played on like every record I've ever played on. It's always my favorite.
At a house show in Wake Forest, you told me you've been married to that guitar longer than you've been married to your wife.
That is true. Although I just started dating my wife before I started dating this guitar, so it was kind of like a faster movement from dating to marriage with the guitar than it was for Jill. I had to take a little while to vet her, make sure she was going to be all right. Yes, Larrivee, a Canadian guitar. Okay, so I have been recording this, by the way, so I will post it on YouTube or something, make it available. And if I haven't figured out exactly when or how, what the format is going to be, but it should be up there. And I just appreciate you guys tuning in to do this. I know we're getting close to an hour, and I'm just gonna I'll end by just playing the song. And if you, oh yeah, I forgot to say, if you want to donate, you totally don't have to. If it's a problem, don't do it. But I'll write the details here. Venmo is just at Andy Gullahorn. PayPal is, well, you could do Andy Gullahorn, but I always prefer to say Andy at jillphillips.com because that's way cooler to be on her email. So if you want to throw something that direction, that's awesome. And I might do another one of these in the future. So there's a particular song. I'll probably post something about it and like take a poll as to which song or songs to do in the next one. So if there's one that you have questions about, let me know. I do have large in the gray high five shirt. I think I have all the sizes in the gray high five shirt, which just happens to be hanging behind me somewhere. That might be it right there.
Andy, are you guys going to do a Gullahorn happy hour shirt?
We are working on it, right? It's in the works.
Excellent.
And so hopefully we'll have that soon. But yeah, so I'll kind of take a poll somewhere on social media to see what songs we should get to if we happen to do this again. It's kind of fun to do it this way where I can actually see faces and hear from people. So I appreciate you being brave and logging on. And I'll kind of close by playing this song. Unless there are any other burning questions or complaints, or just frustrations, because I've got a lot of frustrations. I'm not cut out to be a homeschooling dad. All power to people who are, but holy cow. All right. Yes, In My Bones is an open C, Troy. And actually, pretty much any song that sounds like it's an open tuning would be an open C that's on my records, unless you go back to like Robert's Like a Train is in a weirder, it's CGD, GBD, it's a different open tuning. The song called Original Cliche is in that same tuning. There might be some other ones there. And then if you went way, way back, you start getting into like Dadgad and stuff like that. But I haven't played in Dadgad in many, many records because I'm lazy. PayPal info, once again, is Andy at andygullahorn.com. The recording of the Hat song, I think it would be online any of the places. It's called Nobody Wants to Work, if that's what you're talking about. If that's the song you're asking about. But thank you for giving me an excuse to get out of my house. And I got to get out of doing dishes tonight. I said, hey, I need to go prepare. I just meant I didn't have to do dishes. I came over here. And I see David's question. The stuff I recorded in Dadgad, do I do in OpenC now? The answer is pretty much yes. Although a lot of those songs I just don't play anymore. But there was one that I did a coronagram for. It was Freedom of a Fool. It's an old song. I think it was on Old Hat, maybe. And I think that was in close to Dadgad. That might have been D-A-D-E-A-D. and I just played it in open C. Everything's just easier in open C. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll close out by playing this song, and here it comes. Let's see if I screw up that part again. Nothing, all you hear is silence. Feels like you're alone and you can scratch your head, drifting off of the map. But many souls have gone down this road you're on. At least I have. Sometimes people think it's better feeding you an answer for what you can't understand. But if you want someone who will just cry with you, I can. Some say there's nothing they're ashamed of. They cover up the tracks from the hell where they've been. But if you're looking for something broken, I am. Truth is, we're all gonna take a last breath, and that's not the only sad death we are meant to feel. If you need a friend to do some dying with you, I will. Oh yeah, live I kind of cut out that whole extra part. I mean, trying to howl like a wolf. It's way harder to do when I'm playing this song. Yeah, there you go. Now, you guys know all of my secrets. I'm gonna have to figure out something else that's not so easy to figure out. But thanks for joining me tonight. And I'm going to stop this recording in a second. So after that, you can say all the bad things that you want to say. Hold on a second.